Welcome everybody. Today we are watching a solid 4v4 NTW3 mod for Napoleon Total War. And I'll be honest, this was the first time that I had played this mod. This is literally the first battle I had played when playing this mod. I've played a lot of regular multiplayer, I've played the campaign, but I've never sat down and played this mod. And I'll be honest, it was definitely an experience, and I think I'm hooked. This was a while back recording. I am playing as Russia, with allies with Britain, and actually, my apologies, 3v3, not 4v4, a 3v3 battle, and it was an alliance of Russian and Britain on my side, and the other side, as you can see over here, is France. I believe 2 French units and also a German unit army. But as we see here, the French are already setting up their artillery, and looks like my Russian allies are walking right into it. Now over here, I tried to advance up to take this hill, and at the start of the game, if you look up here in the, here you go, if at the start of the game, the deployment zones for the enemy, or for the people we were going up against, was this area up here. So I tried to move my artillery over to take this hill, because I believed that, you know, they'd fan out, make a giant line, and we'd kind of get some things going here. But for the most part, our armies split, and okay. Yeah, our armies had split and had gone in 2 different directions, and I apologize once again, it is a 4v4 match, and, okay, let me see. Yeah, it is a 4v4 match, and, sorry, I forgot, it was a while ago that I completely forgot how many people were in this battle. So it was a 4v4, and it is 2 Russian, me and my ally here, and also 2 British units that are our allies going up against 2 French. I think they have a Russian, and I'm pretty sure they have a British as well. I could be completely wrong. They could have been all French. I don't remember, but we'll see here in a second. But yeah, as we see here, setting up my artillery in place up on this hill. And I think, if I remember correctly, I had to move them even farther up. I think I had them set up, and then I had to move them up a little bit farther because it just wasn't. It was going to be shooting right into this hillside. I'm moving most of my Russian army to set up a basic line right here. And while my allies, the Russians, are just going straight down this road, I think they're going to engage right away. And my British allies were over here forming a wall over here. Now, we were playing the point system. So, you know, you take a house, you get a point. But obviously, there are different houses worth different amount of points. So I think in a little bit, I think this house was one we fought over right here, and I believe over here this was definitely, this house right here is very important, because this house basically took up, I would say, 100% of the battle. We fought, you know, all over the battlefield, but this house was constantly in contention between our allies and the enemy. Everybody was trying to get this house. Now, off the top of my head, like I said, it's the first time I played this mod. I don't remember how much this house was worth, but seeing as we fought over it all game, I'm pretty sure this house was the most points. So, let's see what's going over here. As you can see, I'm not seeing a lot of the enemy right now. It's because they were hidden and out of view, but we have some cavalry here, some French cavalry, and they're lined up ready to meet my allies, the Russian allies, in battle. Now the Russians are smart. Oh, we got some artillery over here already firing off some shots, trying to get some hits in, and they are just in a beautiful position. If you look here, they have a pretty much, they're sitting on a little hill right here in front of this pond, and they're just firing straight over into this Russian line infantry. Now they're making good use of this riverbed, you know, staying just out of not out of range, but kind of out of the hit point of, or out of view, I should say, of the French artillery. Just sitting here in this riverbed, any artillery is just going to go right over their heads. He is really, look at this, some really healthy units. 100, 111, 111. Now, like I said, it was the first time I played this mod, so before the game, oh, there he is, firing off some shots himself, getting his artillery in place. Before we started this game, I mean, I must have taken 20 minutes trying to set up my army, because I did not realize how, like, much bulk this mod was. They have completely added dozens of units and even a few factions to the main game. You can even play as USA if you wanted to. But for this game, we were playing with an accumulative power of 38, and which that means is basically every faction has a power, whether it's 12 or 11 or 10, 9, 8, whatever, you know, so forth. And you and your allies, your power has to match to 38. That's how we were playing. So I believe my Russian faction is 9 points, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not weak, and it's not the strongest either. I believe the strongest is 14. I could be wrong, but we fared pretty well. So as we see, the British have moved up, and they've this is the British Portugal faction. They've moved up and they've taken this house already, so we getting us some points. And you'll see that we try to hold this house, and maybe we succeed, maybe we don't, for as long as we can. Oh, got some beautiful artillery shots. Don't know if we took out any. Ooh, back and forth. Some beautiful artillery barrages. Now, we were not playing with any rules, so to speak. We didn't have, you can't, oh, there you go, out of sight of me and my allies. So they just kind of disappeared off the map because they're invisible to us for a second. Oh, there they are again. I guess they sent up some scouts or something. But what was I saying before? Apologize. Let's see what's going on over here. Oh, we have maybe a cav charge happened, and looked like some units fled that. Our Russian allies are really letting off some really good shots here. Oh! It looks like he did try to go in with his cav, and he is routing, so it doesn't look like it ended up very good for him. I'm finally, at this point in the battle, I'm getting my lines set up. I've finally got them in place where I want them. My ally is moving some cav over to his right flank. And I have set up now my other artillery right here, trying to fire over at this French position. Now, yep. Let's see what's going on over here. So yeah, he has one unit that's already routing. Oh, that's the enemy. Okay, so the enemy had one unit that's already routing, and we have a unit that's routing. So we're getting some jabs in here. Trying to take out some of these guys as they're routing. Now they've already hooked up their artillery, the French, and it looks like they're going to move it again already. Most of the French army looks like it's still forming up, mostly because they're out of our line of sight. They haven't popped into sight yet, so I think they're still back there somewhere, and this giant wath of space. Now, what's going on back here? I thought maybe they took a house. I think this is their general. Yeah. Their general is just sitting back here casually. Let's see what they've got rolling in this place over here. I believe another general is moving over here. Now, I was surprised they didn't try to take any of these houses, maybe get a couple more points. But I'll be honest, during this game, the French, they really pushed up aggressively. And it was almost like they weren't playing for points. It's like they were playing to just wipe us out. And you'll see here that that didn't turn out just as easy as they thought it was going to be. We put up a very good fight, and you'll love to see what we did here. Oh, we got something happening over here. He's moving his troops back. Oh, here we go. All right. So my ally moved up his cav, I guess for a cav charge, and as you can see, exposed the entire French and what's back here? I believe this is, could be wrong. Hold on. Yep, Russian. French and Russian forces are over here pushing on our left flank. And they did move up and they did take this house, I believe. Could be wrong. No, they did not. But they are moving in place. And they've like right out of our line of sight again. Now if we look over here, as you can see on our right flank, most of our cavalry is over here. And we are just opening fire on these French units. Now at this point in the battle, I believe that my ally said, let's go try to snag this house over in the corner. And so I moved up. I had one unit of irregulars, and I just said, all right, I'll send my irregulars over there to take that house. I think their cav noticed that, and he started shifting that way as well. So my ally started sending his cav. So we're just kind of mirroring. Oh, we got a cav charge over here, and he's trying to. Oh my gosh! And they just barely got some shots off in time, barely formed square in time, and just broke that cav unit, sent them routing. Now, my Russian ally did try to counter. Oh, he did! He countered with his cav here. Let's see if he can break this French. And look at this, back and forth, cav charge after cav charge, just countering one another. Took off some really good kills here. He really gave my Russian ally a little bit of a run for his money. And so he formed up and started getting off some shots here as they were moving away. Wow, look at that. And if they did not form square in time, then that unit would have been destroyed completely. Now at this point, let's see, have they moved up yet? So we have a little bit of an engagement here near the river. And I think the British realize that they're going to need a little bit of help. They can't take on both of these units by themselves. So Spain is moving up now. Or not Spain, sorry. Still the UK, but it was in Portugal. So they're flying the Portuguese-Spanish flag. Really getting some good shots off here. See if they form up in time. But as I was saying earlier, we weren't playing with any type of unit specification or rules, so you could bring whatever you wanted. It wasn't a max on lights, it wasn't a max on artillery or anything like that. So, ooh, we got beautiful back and forth here between the French and the British. Ooh. Now, if you look on the map, for some of those who've never seen a Napoleon game before, me and my allies are in blue. And the red is well, the French we can see, the enemy that we can see, the French, the British, and Russians. I believe they have Russians with, yeah, Russians, French, and British. Now our British allies are moving back a little bit, forming up another line. Now here, I'm supporting with my Russian line back here, my grenadiers and so forth. And I'm just waiting to see if my ally is going to push up and really take control of the middle of this battlefield. So far, he's just letting his artillery get off some shots. Really probably getting some good hits in back here. And his general is kind of close. I wouldn't have brought my general up this close. But he is in a riverbed, so he's kind of out of harm's way, so to speak, of the artillery. Ooh, we got some Russian movement here in the middle of the battlefield. And it looks like some artillery is, taking off back here. Oh, there we go. Here's some French who've moved up into the riverbed. Oh, wow. Some really healthy French units sitting back here. This battle, if you look, it's just, this mod lets you play on such a grander scale than the actual game. I mean, it really focuses on historical realism. So the power and the units that are used in this game are actually historical units. In the pre-game load up when you're picking your faction and whatnot, as you scroll over the units, it actually gives you a little bit of history on each one and where they fought and how effective they were. It's actually really interesting. It's a really cool mod. We still have the French and the British going back and forth over here. Getting some beautiful shots off. Oh my gosh. Commander's getting his sword out already. Saying, look guys, if we gotta charge in there, we'll charge in there. Wow, this is a really hefty unit. 200 men. I would be very surprised. This one's 150. I'd be very surprised if they lost this skirmish right here. And look at the smoke kicking up from all those shots back and forth. It's just beautiful. Over here on this flank, French are moving up. Now, as you can see, some historical French unit flags here. And they're moving up to secure this riverbed. Don't know what my ally is doing here. And I think by this point I saw him moving up and I said, alright, I'll send some of my grenadiers up. Because I realized most of my force was sitting back here and wasn't doing much. And I was just sitting back here firing right over the heads of my British allies here. Now I think by this point, yeah, I'm already like halfway to the house. It's quicker if you move on the roads, but I didn't know that at the time. So as you can see, my units aren't really moving on the road. And I'm sending some cav to support. Because like I said before, I noticed that a little bit of mirroring was going on with the French cav. And so I sent them over. Is he going to charge in here? See if he can break them? Let's see. Look at that, off in the distance. You can see the artillery just kicking up mounds of dirt back and forth. Oh, right there, you saw that? This took out about 4 guys. We'll come back to that cav charge over here. Let's see what's going on this way. Looks like there's about to be a little bit of an engagement. We've already lost some guys. Oh, we have a cav charge. Oh, and they just send them right into the line, into the healthy French units. And yeah, right away they just break. Maybe wasn't the wisest course of action, but you can tell Britain is trying to pull back their units a little bit, reform their lines, because the French are pushing very hard. Oh, the Russians as well are supporting here. They are pushing very hard on this flank. Let's see what's going on over here. Yep, here comes the French. And I saw that they were coming in to kind of take out my irregulars, so I sent my cav in. And I said, no, you're not going to take them out. We're going to take this house. So I sent my my cav in to my dragoons. And if I remember correctly, they just cut right through these guys. Yeah, look at their morale plummeting. Yep, and right away I got them to rout. So they were trying to come in to take out my irregulars, and I'm sure my irregulars appreciate that very much. So let's see what's going back up on over here. Oh, we got some of the French cav. Looks like they're not even like really having to run because this Russian unit is so exhausted. Let's see what's going on here. As you can see, he's really mounting up some strong units. About to push on this riverbed. He's got his cav back here ready to strike. Now, if I was the French, specifically this unit, I would be a little worried at the grand force I see walking my way. I mean, look at this. Unit after unit after unit. But he's formed up his line nicely here. And they're getting off some their first shots off. Let's see if our Russian allies can form up as well. Getting some very nice shots on. A little bit of a back and forth. Love hearing them sending those shots down in the barrels. Look at that. Oh, and they're withdrawing a little bit. I think they see that these troops down here in the riverbed are really just firing right here into the mound. So they're going to reform up. And I was really trying to move my units to push hard over this way, so I had all of them kind of shifting over to the right, but I also wanted to help my allies, so I sent some units up as well. Just some line. Thinking if
the buildings up.
Let's see. So yep, I finally was able to get in here and take over this building, get some points for our team. And at this point as well, I think I believe my dragoons are still sitting back here protecting. And I shifted these 2 units. I thought maybe if we could get a big enough loop, as you see on the map, they were really pushing hard down here on the left flank. So I believed if we could break through over here on this, I believed that there was a wall here. If we could break through on this wall, then we could sweep in behind them. So that's why I'm moving my troops over to the right side. And as you can see, we still have a lot of cav left over. At this point, I've picked up my my cannons, and I'm starting to move them down the battlefield to a different position. I have my skirmishers back here, move them as well, and my general, kind of just sitting back, sitting tight. Now this artillery at this point, I feel like I should have moved it, but I did move it a little, like maybe 10-20 minutes later. Got a beautiful line engagement here. Hear the drums going off. And see, the British have so many healthy units here, but the problem is that the French are just so strong, and they're being supported by so many units that getting into an open engagement with the French is almost near suicide. The French really did dominate this area in Europe, this era, I should say, in Europe, and whereas the British are incredibly strong, they weren't quite as strong as the French at this time period, at least on land. And see, British would have crushed them. Got some cavalry sitting back here waiting in the riverbed. Look at the smoke just kicking up from this engagement. Beautiful. Getting some nice shots off. Now back here it looks like we have some cav moving behind the line. At this point in the battle, I had moved up my units here. As you can see, I moved 2 Russian line infantry, and I saw the cav was coming, so I was like, maybe they're coming for me. I should form square maybe. And I just immediately jumped into it, and that unit broke. Not because of me, but because the units we have here in the house holding it. So I really wanted to help over here, and I think at some point I do try to move more units as well, because as you can see, the French are just punishing these units. Oh, and we have a counter charge here by the British, rushing in and taking out a couple French cav. But as we can see, then the Russians move in their cavalry. I think if I was the British, I would have withdrawn a little sooner, because now, as you can see, they are just getting crushed, and there's just more units moving up to support. So we still have a very good line engagement here, going back and forth. And the British really need to get off some more shots here. There we go. Me as well. I'm trying to get off as many shots as possible. And at this point, my allies here kind of backed up a little bit, and I'm still trying to get off some shots with my line. Let's see what's going on over here in this flank. So at this flank, I do remember this part of the battle. We had moved up and completely pushed the French over to the other side of the river, and I moved 3 units up here to secure this side of the riverbed and just kind of fire right across. But I wanted to wait until, you know, all of my British allies got here and formed up as well. So I would say for most of the battle, this front was a little difficult, but this front we were just crushing on. Now, as you can see, I still have my artillery waiting back here, and I still had some too many units. I should have moved these units up earlier. Didn't think about it, though. I could have really helped them right here on this flank and probably broken this French line earlier. You just hear them loading up their guns. There they go. And there they go, shifting again, letting in 2 more units. Oh, and I'm actually a little surprised. I can't tell if these are... I believe they're British. A lot of British laying dead right here. And a little bit of Russian troops. So as you can see, the French and the Russians are just punishing my British allies over here on this front. But they're trying to hold them the best they can. We're trying to hold this house, keep these points. Now, if you look, we went from having a straight line all the way across this hill to completely shifting our front and kind of trying to keep the French and Russian alliance kind of just held right in here to this peninsula. Oh, didn't mean to do that. It's a little bit hard to control sometimes. And as we see here, they're kind of getting pushed on 2 fronts. We had the Russians moving up here, engaging the French, and the French trying to hold this riverside as well. Really letting off some healthy shots. Just a beautiful back and forth. I will be honest though, maybe the positioning of me and my allies wasn't the best, because from the French point of view, they are seeing layers. They can hit more than just the front row of guys. They can hit like every single guy inside of the line. As you can see here, just took out a good amount of my troops here. We should have moved back a little bit farther, because as you can see, all we can see is the first man in line on that side of the hill. So maybe we should have moved back a little bit farther, but in the middle of the battle, I really didn't notice that at that point. But getting some good shots off, trying to keep them to push back even farther, to fall back. But my morale still was very healthy, so I wasn't too worried about it. And here, very, very healthy. But they're getting sandwiched in between a Russian force here that has moved up extremely close, almost firing at point-blank range. But these 3 Russian troops are kind of a little bit outnumbered by these, what is it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. 7 lines right here. Oh, looks like we have a little bit of a bayonet charge. Oh, just cuts right into the side of that unit, and their morale is instantly just falling. Oh, but they hold. They hold. Their morale kicks back in, and they're keeping this unit at bay. Let's see if they can get them to crumble, though. Got some good fighting going on. Oh, he just hit him in the back of the head, and he's stepping on his neck. Oh, really just ended him. But they get that French unit to rout, so a little bit of a small win for the Russians. But see, here's where they made the mistake. They tried to push on to the next unit, and that unit is very healthy. And it looks like we have here a Russian cav unit. Looks like they're moving in to take out my Russian allies, and a French cav unit as well. A little bit of a cav charge here. Oh, and they just cut right through. Oh, man. And I'm not going to be surprised if this unit just turns around and runs. Yep. I didn't think they were gonna hold through that, but they just cut right through them, chase them down, do not let them get away. Another little bit of a cav charge here, rushing right into my allies' lines. Oh. Engaging them head on with multiple cav units trying to break these Russian line infantry. But if I'm not mistaken, this Russian line holds strong. We have a countercharge here by my Russian allies, headed back through to chase down these. And they turn around. They realize that's a bad idea. So over here we still have oh, we see that the Russians and the British alliance over here. So me and my British allies are kind of turning, trying to hold these kind of like a pincer movement, trying to hold them in here. Oh, and a lot of British just went down from a little bit of artillery, but it looks like a lot of them are getting back up, so that's good. Now, I believe, actually, that was my fault. I moved my artillery right here, and I was trying to fire right over this riverbed. Yep, right over the riverbed, and I got a good shot off right here at the house. Took out a couple units here, and I'm just trying to punish this unit right here on the end, but I get some really good hits in. Now, at this point, have I finally decided to move my artillery? I think I have. Where did I move them? I believe I moved them right up here in the middle. Yep. I moved them right up here in the middle to kind of fire some grape shot, canister shot, right here at the French troops because we were right point blank range at them. So, who's routing now? Up. So as you see here, the French are forming up very strong, and they're kind of trying to push back because we've moved up a little bit from when we had this original line back here at the house. We've moved up a little bit and are trying to push the French back. And we have, is there another cav charge going on? Maybe not. But we're really trying to sandwich these French and Russian troops in with these French troops over here.
Men are running, sir.
We have another unit breaking. Oh man, these French are just punishing me at this point. But trying to sandwich them in. As you can see, with the riverbed, we've moved across a little bit. We are slowly pushing this French line back. But over here, it looks like the French are moving up once again. They are pushing. And that's what I love about how realistic this mod is. It's not just one constant push. Oh, what do we have here? Okay. It looks like some of our enemy's Russian troops were just sitting here in the riverbed idle. And we rushed in with our Russian dragoons. But they are countercharging with their French cav. So let's see what happens here. Oh, we have a cav charge here as well. Rushing right into the French lines. But these French are holding strong. I apologize if you can hear my cat in the background. She gets a little bit excited at these NTW3 gameplays. Look at the carnage. If you look up, you can really see the amount of casualties that have been inflicted so far and the mass amount of routing that's happening across the battlefield. But we're trying to hold, we're trying to push best we can. Getting off some very good shots at the French line here. As you can see, a couple guys are going down. It looks like they're having a little bit of a... These two guys had a little bit of a dramatic death. Oh, there he goes. Oh, the dramatics. The humanity of it all. Getting off some good volleys back and forth. Now, as you can see, over here, we are really pushing up hard on this riverbed. Trying to keep these French at bay, and we're starting to break a lot of them. We have a Russian cav charge just cutting through these French line infantry as they're running away. And at this point, the French realize that they're losing ground. They're moving back. The casualties they're sustaining is very great. But we've sustained some casualties of our own, but not as bad as the French have on this front. So they're still trying to hold us. I think at this point in the battle, the French realize if they lose this fight here, if they lose this flank, then their allies, who are actually keeping the British very well occupied and are very strongly pushing on this house.
Our general is under attack.
Now, where did I move my general up to? Oh, I remember at this point in the battle, I completely was not paying attention, and the French moved up and just wiped out my general. And that was a pretty bad loss. If I'm being completely honest with you. I was not expecting it. I did not see it coming, and I was like, wow, they caught me off guard. But like I was saying, the French realized that if they lose this flank right here, then our healthy units, because so far we actually have not sustained too many casualties. We've been pushing very strongly, using the riverbed as a good amount of cover, and we've been crushing these French and Russian troops. And if we can break through here, like I said earlier, we can come and relieve the British over here that are just take a pounding. But as you can see, the French have moved troops from that front to come help on this front because they realize, you know, if they lose, it will be a problem. So, getting off some healthy shots here. Look at that beautiful volley. The British are really letting them have it. For the amount of casualties the British are taking over on that front, the British are really inflicting a lot of casualties on this front. Beautiful, watching through the trees. These line battles just continue to go on. The amount of smoke from the muskets on this side are just insane. And I think at this point, did I move my artillery again? Let's see. Yep. So I started to shift my artillery again because right here, I was trying to help out on this front because the French actually were inflicting a lot of damage and my Russian allies were losing a lot of men. So I moved over here to kind of help them out.
Fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
And the problem is, as well, as you can see here, the French cav have gotten behind us and they're trying to take out my artillery. So I come and I form square here as fast as I can, and he kind of just still goes in for the kill. But thankfully enough, I formed square quick enough and I was able to defend, well, partially defend my artillery the best I could. The French have moved up here as well, and I think I saw this at that point. And I turned my Russian line around and I'm just, or my grenadiers, sorry, and I just like, no, we need to focus on this enemy who's trying to push on this side of the river. Getting off some nice shots here. Now I don't want to give myself too much of a pat on the back here, but I'm really proud on what I did here on my next move. I saw that the French were getting pretty weak, and so I was like, at some point I was like, all right, I think we can get a little bit of a bayonet charge in here, maybe break this small French front and push through. As you can see, I have my men in kind of like a U formation, getting some shots off. And now here we go. We're about to push up through this road across the river. Now I see that over here, my allies pretty much have the Russians and the French on the run. So I'm trying to shift my my troops to come help out on this flank because we are just getting punished over here by the French. Do we have a cav charge? Is this unit going to rush in behind? Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're going against that. Oh, maybe they changed their mind. It looks like they're trying to cut through the battlefield, and the British are not letting them get away with that. Yep, and once again, they just completely obliterated my artillery. The problem with me this game is I was focusing on too many things at once. I had units over here, I have units here, and I was not paying attention to my artillery, and they just wiped it out. And that was a very big loss for me, as we all know how important artillery is in this game. I'm trying to move up, I believe it's 5 healthy Russian units up through this these ponds right here, and trying to really keep these French on the run. Now, as you can see, we have 2 lines that have just formed here with a small gap here in the middle, and we're trying to wedge them in as close as we can between this river and us. And it's working so far, but I'm worried about this front over here. The British have constantly fighting the entire time. Like I said, this house was in contention 100% of the game. So at this point, as you can see as well, they have pushed my British allies back into this small town, and they're just trying to hold the house. At this point, the house is not even have anybody defending it in front, except for a couple of, well, not even a couple, just one of my Russian units, and I'm trying to relieve them back here. And at this point, they're moving up. They're going to try to take this house, and the French are just here punishing my British allies as they try to hold this town. Still getting some good shots off, though. Some beautiful shots off over at the British. Let's see what's going on over here. So, yep, this is what I was talking about. I saw that they were on the run, and I decided to charge in for a bayonet charge. And really broke this unit, this French unit. And the French are trying to make a little bit of a stand here. They are getting their artillery in place, though, which is a very big problem because they have a perfect shot right here at our lines. The British are not letting up, though. They are chasing down this Russian resistance that is over here. And really trying to let them have it. My Russian allies here are trying to take out this unit of artillery, and I believe they succeed. And also engaging these French troops over here on this front. Sounds like we have some more troops moving in here. I started to move and shift so that we could take on this French unit. I wanted to get some of these French to break away and try to come get me so that I could relieve the pressure on my ally as much as possible. The only problem with that is as I started shifting this way, they also started bringing their cav. And we are, as you can see, starting to lose this house. But I have one unit here of, of line still trying to keep these Russians at bay. And yeah, I was working hard to try to form my my lines up here with my Russian ally. And they are just not letting up. They're like, nope, we're gonna keep pushing on. Now here, finally, I was able to get a good, healthy line going, but I am, as we know, an idiot, and I believe I forgot to switch some of them out of melee, and I don't think I noticed that for a while. So as you'll see, not all of my units are engaging with this French, these French units here. You'll see not all units are firing off shots, but French here are getting off some shots. Really letting my troops have it as they advance over the field. Across the field, sorry. And at this point, the French have lined up once again. And it looks like they have, is this a general or is this an artillery commander? I believe this is an unmounted general back here, trying to hold and keep his units in line. He's saying, look, we can't back up anymore. We either hold this line or we just lose. And the Russians are like, to hell with that. We're getting out of here. And the French, I believe, follow suit as well. They're like, all right, we have to keep moving back because the British are moving up strong. As you can see, his general, he's keeping his general very close to the back of his lines. Very smart. I should have done the same, and maybe my general wouldn't have been wiped out. But over here on this front, you can see that finally I was able to get my units in place. But you'll see I'm not getting all my shots off. Not everybody is firing. This is a problem with Napoleon sometimes. You don't hear the sound right off the bat. Trying to get here to relieve. I believe we're still holding the house, if I'm not mistaken. And at this point, some French troops have gotten behind. And so he moved... Where is he? Yeah, he just moved his remaining troops just to defend the house. So at this point, we're really just trying to hold the house. Still have my units out here. I think at this point I was focusing on this push. I was just happy at this point to have units done the fight. As you can see at the map, way too many units routing. Way too many units. And I still had my my one unit holding that house. Like I said before, I wasn't positive on the amount of points that were given to each house. And so I believe the house I was holding was only worth 1 point. And this house here in the middle of the battlefield was probably worth 4. And so at the moment, we are winning this fight, but I should have definitely taken my troops out of that house to come help the rest of the battle. Because as long as we hold this house, that house doesn't matter. As you can see, most of my troops are still in melee, so I didn't notice that. So they weren't getting any shots off, and that allowed the French to just keep digging right into my lines. And my Russian allies have broken through here on the French lines. Look at the amount of casualties that have been sustained on this front. I mean, it's insane. And there's still French here that are kind of staying in place. We have another French line here moving on the houses. They're saying, no, we want this house. We're going to get this house. I'm trying to break through here. And finally I realized that my troops were in melee, and I said, alright, fire at will. As you can see down here with the clock as well, we are running out of time. There's only 12 minutes left in the game.
Our men are running, sir.
Let's see. Yes, I was trying to hold the French advance up into the town, and it didn't really work out the way I had wanted it to. They are just continuing to tighten the grip on this house. We only have 4 units left defending this area. That's why I was trying so hard to break through here. And I really wish the sound would start working. It's the problem with some of these large-scale battles. There we go. The game is trying to focus on so much at once. It's failing to focus on all areas. So we're finally starting to move up some healthy line and to try to relieve this town of the French push. And over on this side, oh my gosh.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
So we were able to take out their general, it appears. And over here, the British are still pushing strong, but it looks like they're not dedicating as much troops to this front. Because honestly, if I was the British, I would be taking all of these troops and turning around and helping over here. Because as much as we want to finish off the French over here and not have to worry about them, the main issue is this right here. As long as the French are over here fighting for this house, there's a problem. So I would have pulled the British and brought them over this way. So I'm starting to move up. Once again, moving my my Russian line infantry, trying to form them up, running a little bit. I know they're probably very tired, but it says they're eager. They're very tired, encouraged, and eager. They have had casualties sustained, but they're happy because the enemy is routing. So the French here are starting to win this battle for the house. It looks like a little bit over 50% control, and I mean, the British are just trying to hold on to it the best they can. But we are here to help. We are moving up, moving into the town, and the French have completely shifted sides, and they've like, all right, we're not going to try to defend this side of the town. We're going to move over here.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Yep, and like I thought, the French take the house. So now the French have the 4 points, and we have 1. So not very good. And my unit's just sitting here and trying to take out this French unit. As you can see, the British are leaving the house. They're just demoralized. They're broken and exhausted. Now my units, it says they're exhausted, so I shouldn't have been running with them, that's for sure, because exhausted troops tend to rout much quicker and easier than healthy troops. Getting some good shots off here with my Russian grenadiers.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest away.
Getting some shots off here at the French position, but I should have shifted them to the right side of the house. The commander is now moving his troops up here. Trying to get some good shots off before we can try to rush in with our bayonets. If one thing that the Russians are good at, it's bayonet chargers. In melee, they are unmatched. But they break. Some of the British are breaking, and it looks like here. And I think at this point in the battle, I really had to go to the bathroom. So I set my units in, and I went and I ran to the bathroom. But as you can see, most of our units are just got out of here. It really... The French won this battle on this side of the field. They broke our units, and the amount of casualties, as you can see, on this side of the theater of war just was insane. And over here, the British have completely routed the French, but at what cost? We should have turned around, and the British should have gone and charged in over here. Because, like we said before, if these French got into a battle with these British, then the British will probably win. But the problem is they are on 2 separate sides of the fields, and the British, sorry, my mistake. And the French now hold the house, so they have the points. So the French are winning. And at this point, I only had 1 grenadier unit left, and I was like, well, the British aren't helping, so I'm going to move in. and do whatever I can with this one unit. They're confident, winded, and their friends are routing, so they're a little concerned. Beautiful thing about this mod is how realistic it is. You start seeing your friends route, you're going to want to route too. Oh, I know that. Man. Try to get whatever shots I can off. I wish the sound was working with these shots. Just keeps cutting in and out. But the French are just crushing my my Russian troops here. And I'll be honest, like I said before, the French own the land battle, so
Our men are running
don't stand
for
much of a chance. And yep, there they go. They start routing. Alright, I'm going to speed the battle up a little bit because at this point in the battle, as you can see, the British were not paying attention, and we're kind of just letting our allies and myself crumble over here for this town. So the French are winning. There's only 5 minutes left, and at this point, it's pretty much, I would say, done.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Oh, and it looks like they've taken another house. Yep, so the French now have more points, and I still have the units up in the house, but it's useless at this point. British moving in to take this house. French are getting out of there, crossing the bridge again, headed home.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
The British definitely should have helped out a little sooner. Or I should say at all, but we can't have everything. And as you can see here, the French took another house. So the French just started to dominate us at this point, and really not make it much of a fight. I had one unit left over here that for some reason felt like they wanted to stay in the fight, and the French was like, alright, easy pickings. And as they, yep, there they go, they start routing as well. So hats off to the French. They really not so much out strategized, I would say, because I felt like we had a pretty good strategy of moving in, trying to crush them, and we really messed up with sending the British off this way. But hats off to their strength. The French, like I said before, unmatched on the field. So the French hold and take enough points to win this game, but it's just the amount of casualties for me. Like, it's insane to me, the amount of casualties that was sustained over here on this front. But hats off. If you guys have not played the NTW3 mod, I definitely encourage it. I believe that it's the Lords of War or something like that. If you go to their website, you can get the NTW3 mod, and it's free to download. Super fun, makes the game much more competitive and historical and interesting. So let's see here. Yep, no time left on the clock, and it says draw because both armies still had units on the field, but because we were playing the point system, sadly we did lose this battle. So yep, I'm Zabubufu, King of Kings, and actually I got the least amount of kills out of everybody, but I also sustained the least amount of casualties. Definitely thought I had more than 555. As you can see, it definitely was the British who were inflicting the most amount of damage. They had over 1,000 kills each, but every single one of the French troops and Russian units on our enemy side were putting up a very good fight. So let's see here which unit was doing the most damage. We had, look here, 65 kills. That was a line infantry unit, 103. So out of all of my units, I would say probably these, what are these, Grenadiers? Grenadiers in line did the best with 103 kills each. But yep, that was it. So we thank you so much for watching, or I thank you so much for watching, and hope you'll tune in for the next video. Thank you so much, guys.